But anyway, this is the big one, man. Patricio Pitbull versus Emmanuel Sanchez. This is a banger of a fight. Man, look, this is my favorite fight on the card for sure. It's got the best spot, which is the main event spot. I'm glad this is main event. And obviously it would be main event, you know. What a fight we have. A rematch. Both veterans of the game at this point. Patricio Pitbull coming in with a 31-4 record. Emmanuel Sanchez coming in with a 20-4 record. They're both similar ages. Patricio Pitbull's a little bit older, 33, probably nearing the end of his prime. Emmanuel Sanchez coming into his prime, probably peak prime for Sanchez, 30 years of age. They're both featherweights. Sanchez has quite a lot of height and reach on him. Sanchez has a 3-inch height advantage at 5'9" to 5'6". Sanchez has a 5 or a 4.5-inch reach advantage at 70-inch to 65.5-inch reach advantage. This is a rematch of a fight that happened about 3 years ago, which was a pretty close fight. It was a fairly close fight. It was a very close fight, really. It was 2-2 going into the 5th round. And, you know, I believe it may have been a 2-2 on all judges' scorecards going into the 5th round. And Patricio Pitbull hurt Sanchez badly in that last round because his power carries through to all rounds. And, you know, he hurt Sanchez badly with, you know, in his boxing stance with some punches. And he was able to control Sanchez on the floor for most of the rest of that round. And he was able to get a clear win in that 5th round. And I believe he got a 10-8 round on one judge's scorecard. I don't know what judge scored that, and I don't know what round that was. It may have been the last round, but there was another round where Pitbull hurt Sanchez. So I'm assuming it was that one, actually, because it's like the 2nd or 3rd round he hurt Sanchez pretty badly. I thought he could get him out of there. Maybe that was the last round. I got bad memory, guys. I watched this fight a couple of days ago. But anyway, Pitbull hurt Sanchez, a couple of times in that fight. And that's no easy task. Sanchez has a beard. He has a solid chin. He is not hard to hurt. But Pitbull has grenades in his hand, right? We saw him starch Michael Chandler in about a minute. We see him destroy Pedro Carvalho in about 2 minutes in his last fight. He's got immense power, and he was able to hurt Sanchez a couple of times in that fight. And that basically what won him the fight, guys. Pitbull's power won him that fight, because if he wasn't able to hurt Sanchez probably wouldn't have won the fight on volume. Now, there is another argument to say that maybe Pitbull won it because he was able to control Sanchez in the grappling for a couple of times, you know, which he was able to do. But yeah, man, this fight's a great fight. You know, they both had 3 fights since then. They both have looked as dominant as ever since then. And when I say since then, I mean since their since their first fight. You know, Emmanuel Sanchez last time out dominated a previous opponent. He fought Daniel Whitechaw. I believe that was his last fight. And then obviously Patricio Pitbull got that solid knockout over Pedro Carvalho, who's a tough guy in himself. So this fight, man, first of all, I want to say that the line is off for this fight, right? They, you know, at one point, you know, as you can see here, Emmanuel Sanchez was a plus 250 underdog. And I was going to bet Sanchez as a plus 250 underdog. But for some reason, I just thought that Patricio Pitbull has so much hype these days, especially because he knocked out Michael Chandler. A lot of people are talking his name. You know, he was a double weight world champion, and Pitbull, Henry Cejudo is always talking about how Pitbull is better than him and he's the one he looks up to. You know, so basically, I thought that people would be throwing Pitbull in parlays, and I thought that Sanchez would get even wider than plus 250. But when I woke up, right, it was plus 215. And I was like, no, I've missed a boat. I could have bet him at plus 250. And, you know, the cat's out of the bag. I was going to bet him, as I say. If we go back on the line now, yeah, plus 215 is the best you're getting. So he's actually being bet down even more since I bet him at plus 215. He's plus 205, plus 200, plus 195. He's plus 185 in one book, you know, which I think at plus 185, you're kind of not really getting much value on that line now, because I do have to lean Patricio just because of how high level he is. But basically, the way I see this fight breaking down is virtually the same as the first fight. I don't think much is different. I mean, these guys were veterans at that time. These guys are still veterans. I don't think much has changed, right? I feel like this is anyone's fight, but I definitely lean Pitbull. I think Pitbull wins this fight 60% of the time. I think Emmanuel Sanchez is definitely got the volume upside. I mean, he definitely has the volume upside, but Patricio Pitbull is always live to hurt him. So if you bet on Sanchez, which I have bet on Sanchez, you're always going to worry because Patricio only needs to land once. Now, Sanchez has got a solid chin. I don't think he's going to get stopped, but we've seen him wobble multiple times against Pitbull in that first fight. It's hard to say he's not going to be able to do it again, and he probably is going to do it again at least once or twice, you know. Patricio's super dangerous in them first rounds as well, so I wouldn't be hugely surprised if he was able to get Sanchez out of there in that first round. But it's funny, it's ironic, because if you go back to the first fight, Sanchez hurt Pitbull in that first round, you know? So this is a close fight, man. Both of these guys' skill sets match up closely. The stylistic matchup of these fighters match up closely. Pitbull seemed to be able to control Sanchez in the grappling realm when the fight went to the ground in the first fight. But it's just still dangerous going down to the ground in Sanchez's guard because Sanchez is a high-level BJJ practitioner, probably one of the highest-level BJJ practitioners in the featherweight division in Bellator. You know, I really do rate his jiu-jitsu, especially in guard. He's pretty solid as well. But Pitbull was able to control him fairly easily. So, you know, that's definitely saying something about Pitbull. But, you know, he's a Brazilian dude. All of them guys are pretty good at jiu-jitsu. So, yeah, I feel like Sanchez is going to be, you know, the one out-voluming him. And probably the one coming even harder in the later rounds. Sanchez is one of these fighters that, you know, El Matador is his nickname. He's one of these fighters that come forward consistently, you know, like he might be gassed, but it does not matter. He's still going to throw 100 strikes, you know. He's still going to throw 100 strikes, 50 strikes, significant strikes in one round. But Patricio, he doesn't fight like that. He takes time off. Patricio is a lot smaller. He's a lot more compact. He has a lot more power. So he takes minutes off. You know, it looked like he even might have took the fourth round off, the whole round, right? To save himself for that fifth round. I mean, who knows? If he did, it worked. And he's a veteran. And I wouldn't be surprised if he did that because, you know, he almost did nothing in that fourth round, right? But in the fifth round, he almost stopped Sanchez. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he did that. We've seen fighters do that before. It's kind of a common thing, taking the third round off in a 5-round fight. But it seemed like Patricio might have done that in the fourth round. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty confident in saying that he definitely could have done that. But anyway, Patricio, he takes a couple of minutes off, right? But Sanchez doesn't do that. So Sanchez is always going to be out voluming him in here, right? So even that alone is a decent bet on Sanchez because Sanchez is very unlikely he's going to get stopped, although I definitely could see it, especially from Pitbull. Very unlikely to get stopped. But at the same time, he's always going to be out. He's going to out volume Pitbull, and he's unlikely to get stopped. So just that alone is probably worth more than the plus 250 he was, and probably the plus 215 that I got in at. Look, man, I feel like Pitbull is going to be able to land them bombs. Sanchez isn't greatly defensive in the boxing range. Pitbull is beautiful at boxing. He's got them beautiful hooks, them short hooks. He tucks them in well. I do think he's going to be able to hurt Sanchez a couple of times. And look, I don't see this fight different to much different than the first fight. I feel like Sanchez is going to be coming on strong throughout the whole fight, but I do feel like Pitbull's going to land heavy shots. And if he does get to the ground, he probably will be able to control him in Sanchez's guard. So I lean Pitbull 60-40. So I do feel like there's probably some value on the money line, depending on where you bet. I did jump in at plus 215. And look, just for the sake of the prediction and because of my bet, I'm going to go with Emmanuel Sanchez to win via decision here. It's kind of weird. I know maybe I'm going against what I say because I said I lean Pitbull 60-40, which basically means that it basically means that I'm saying Pitbull's going to win this fight. But I don't know. I'm just saying that this is one of the 40% of the time that Sanchez wins, okay? Maybe it's just because of my bet, but it is what it is. I'm going to go with Emmanuel Sanchez to win this fight, to shock the world. Not to shock us, though. Not to shock the people who do their due diligence, but basically to shock the world and become the featherweight champion. Become the Bellator featherweight champion and advance to semifinals or the finals of the Bellator featherweight Grand Prix. This is a great fight, guys. Don't miss it. This card is solid. Even though we've got some fights that are not very competitive, like the Magomedov fight, they're showcase fights. It's still exciting to watch Magomedov perform, even if he's fighting quote unquote bum, right? It's exciting to see that level of talent in the octagon, or in the Bellator cage. So yeah, don't miss this card. It's a banger of a card. And don't miss this fight, man. Even if you want to miss all the other fights, watch the Gracie and Jackson fight and watch the Pitbull and Sanchez fight. I can't wait for this fight. Sanchez is saying, no, Z is saying that Sanchez closed the evens last fight. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And it looked like kind of an evens fight. You know, maybe Sanchez should have been a plus 150 there. And I believe he probably should be about plus 150 here too, you know? So yeah. So anything above plus 175, not bad value. Plus 180, not bad value. But yeah, you really want that plus 200. You know, you want to go into the 200s because you still can get it at most books. And yeah, I feel like that's definitely a good bet. You know, I've only put a little bit on it. I've got half of a unit on it. It's not much, but I mean, I'm happy to have some money riding on Sanchez here because he's going to fight for my money and I definitely could see him winning it. And I'm predicting him to win the fight. So there we go. That's the breakdown for the main card of Bellator 255. I hope you've enjoyed it. As always, I've got multiple bets on this. You know, you've heard a couple of them, but you haven't heard my main bets. Actually, my main bets are on the prelims. If you want all my bets, you can sign up via lucrativemmabetting.com. I'm third-party tracked on betmma.tips. Cannot fake my record. Other than that, hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, very accessible. And I can't wait for this card, man. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And I will see you in the next video.